just to get things rolling, let's start out with a little bit of song. This is Mozart's Serenade number 13 in G major. Y'all guys ready? Okay, here we go. Stay tuned for more. There's more of where that came from.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Kristy Sturdivant, and I am here today with a special guest, my friend and future author, Janet Heron. How you doing, Janet?
Hello, Kristy. I'm well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm so great. I'm super excited to talk about your upcoming book, which is probably going to be released in 6 months or so, I would say, right?
That's the plan. Yep.
Fantastic. It is called Blood, Sweat, and No Regrets, and it is a memoir of Janet's life, which is Janet's had the most colorful and interesting life of anyone I think I've ever met in my life. She has held 68 jobs. 68 jobs in 55 years. Like, what? That's awesome and crazy and just exhausting to even think about.
Yeah, I'm sure glad we don't have to stand up and do this little chat because it is, just writing the memoir has been somewhat exhausting. When I look back and reflect on all the very different types of jobs that I've had through these 55 years, it's astonishing that I'm sitting here with you today and speaking with you about it and actually writing about it, having the honor of being able to reflect back on my experiences. So often with memoir or autobiography gives us a chance to go back and delve into that past that we sometimes don't want to have to pay attention to. But in memoir, I'm asked to put myself out there and dig up a few things that might be a little uncomfortable, maybe a lot uncomfortable. But it's great because along with the painful memories are some fantastic and fun stuff in there too. I think we all find that out when we go back and dig a little bit deeper if we dare to. So it's been actually a real joy to be able to go and write this memoir and talk about the different jobs. It's not a tidy little memoir. It's lots of incredibly fun stories. Some are quite harrowing, some are sad, but you know, isn't that what life is about? Kind of sad, a little happy. You get a mixed bag. You really sometimes never know what you're going to exactly get until you're there getting it. So, yeah,
It's true, but yours is a little bit more colorful, Janet. Yours is a very colorful story here, okay? Because, a lot of people write memoirs, right? And they usually have really good stories, but yours is quite engaging with 68 jobs. And Janet sent me a list of her jobs, and she divided them up into 4 categories, which, just the titles of the categories were fantastic. But can we just go through these real quick and just talk about these? Because Janet has jobs that grow the backbone and cut your teeth on, jobs performed because I needed to eat and survive, jobs that didn't seem like a job, and then jobs that singled I was all grown up, which are fantastic titles in itself. I'm already completely hooked on your future memoir because sometimes memoirs are they're kind of stiff, maybe a little bit boring, but this has a lot of potential to be a lot of fun in a lot of ways. But it's also very profound and transformative. So let's first talk about the kinds of jobs, and then let's talk how you have survived some of these jobs, because some of them are really intense.
They are quite intense, and I found it important going back through all of my jobs to get an understanding of exactly how much I've really done with my life and how seeking employment really became a centerpiece for me uh, to earn money, to make not necessarily making a difference, but to I think I did after about 40 jobs under my belt. I think job 41 or whatever teaching school was. I did make a difference, but having a wide variety of jobs was essential in keeping my head above the water. There were incidents that happened as a young girl that were pretty traumatic, and I thought one way of um, not dwelling on all of that and letting the bad bad event define me in moving forward was to seek employment. And so I did that right out of the gate at as my first job, which was growing a backbone, which was working as a babysitter. I had to grow up pretty quick babysitting because that's a pretty big responsibility when you have kids. I don't know, 5, 3. I think that's how old they were that you were responsible for. And I think I made 50 cents an hour. That was my first wage. So I think I've come a long way. Although, being a postal worker, I don't know if it's a leg up or not being from
Maybe a little bit more relaxing for
well,
sure.
yes, it is because I'm juggling mail instead of children. So I did there is, a little bit of a difference. But yeah,
Yes.
the very early jobs are the ones, those, growing a backbone ones, which of course makes sense. And so, working through, my job history, it was just those jobs where I just needed to survive, needed to make money. I wanted to be out of the house, but it was something, and people ask me, well, what was it that you wanted to work? And I don't know. Maybe I just have a gene I was born with or something. It's in my DNA. That was important for me to earn a living, earn a wage. And
Hmm.
not just for the money, but for the experience, for learning about humanity, learning about how to make my way through the world. And it wasn't always easy. It never is. Life is messy. And it certainly was at times in my life. Because of that, that really allowed me to explore a lot of different types of jobs to make income, but not, I didn't really like my junior high and high school years particularly. I wasn't crazy about them. And I just liked being out, being with older people, working. And so that's what I did. And the jobs just grew. I didn't really plan on it. Who plans on having 68 different jobs? I mean, I sure didn't. But as I got older, the stakes were, you know, raised a little bit higher. So it was, more jobs with more risk, I would say.
Mm.
Not that I went into them thinking that they were risky, but they became more eventful in some ways that I least expected. So yeah, it
Yes.
was it's been an interesting progression going through these cycles. Looking at I had 18 jobs in the 70s. I went and counted. In the 80s, I had 16 jobs. In the 1990s to 2000s, I had only 6 jobs because a big chunk of that 10 years was worth teaching school. And
Mm.
15 jobs in the 2000s, 11 jobs in the 2010s, and here we are in the 2020s, and I'm at a measly 2. Who
You better pick it
knows?
up, Janet.
Yeah, who knows? But anyway, I better catch up. If I want to get up into the the double digits and the 2020s here, I better get my butt in gear.
I think being an author, though, is it's a pretty big job, right? In talking about this, but let's talk about your identity shifts going through these jobs, because I think that is one of those things that we don't even realize is happening when we have these jobs in our younger years, but maybe we recognize more as we get older, as we do have these minor shifts in discovering parts of ourselves that, can kind of come up. What area of your life do you feel like maybe you uncovered the most of yourself or really got to know yourself in a way?
Um, there were jobs that really defined my progress into who I was, that required me to step up and, I don't know, be forthright, become resilient, determination. Just I don't know. I was pretty gutty. I would maybe mouth off when I shouldn't, but when I saw a something being happening that didn't seem quite, you know, right to me, I would speak up. And I occasionally lost a job or two. I haven't been fired from a lot of jobs. I quit quite a few, but I think I really started putting that meat on the bone, back those early jobs. But the ones that I had to just do because I had to survive were the ones where I really started to find out a lot more about what I was made of, and that tenacity, that willingness to go do whatever to make ends meet. I don't know, Christy. It's really hard to actually put a finger on it. I know that there were jobs that were obviously tested me and what I was made of. I had to have a little bit of grit in there. And just the ability, and I'm not sure where this comes from. Again, maybe it's already built in my DNA. For some people, it is just never to take a sit down and be kept down. Like,
Mm.
sometimes when you get put down on the ground, you have to stand back up. And for me, I had to do that many times. If I wanted to survive, if I wanted to eat, if I wanted to keep one foot in front of the other, I just had to, stand back up if I got hit, put down. And that's pretty important. At least it was for me. Um, I've learned, and the whole thing that kind of threads what makes, I think, all the different jobs interesting is there was this common thread of being 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 very much caught up in my addictions. I'm in recovery and have been for a number of years, and always having that underlying current, more like a tornado or a tidal wave, always just kind of like, I don't know, something just lurking there while I was just really trying to keep it all together, and alcohol and drugs definitely pushed me along and were one of the reasons why I like to work. Is like, yeah, I had to support my habit here. Who else is going to do it? I might as well do it. So it was always that always there in the background lurking, and did complicate things. And of course, drugs and alcohol. When do they not complicate things? So that was one reason why I just kept working. But also, like you said, finding my identity, who I was, what was I made of, always that just determination to go above and beyond. I'll show you.
Well, I think that's a testament to who you are, though, because having something like addiction, having that thread through your lifetime, I mean, that's something that can really hinder a lot of people. And I think that having so many jobs, do you think that helped you overcome, or maybe, I don't want to say control, but maybe tap down the addictions, like having that outward goal?
That's it. I guess so. Again, I'm not. really sure what it was, why I felt like I always needed to work, except, first it was to support my drinking and drugging habit, but also because I just knew that there would be something that would come along that would just, I'd latch onto and say, this is for me. This is who
Mm.
I am, you know? And but it took a lot of jobs to get there. Doesn't for everybody, but for me, I needed the thrill, the challenge of always trying something different. I don't know, I'd get bored very easily, and I know there are other people that do too. I don't think that it's necessarily a crime to have many jobs in one's life, and I think it's fantastic if you only have maybe a half a dozen jobs in a lifetime, as an adult as you go through your working life. For me, there was just always something else to learn, something else to do. Well, it's not that I didn't like who I was. I'm just going to reinvent myself. No, it was just like, let's just try. I don't know. Let's just try something different. Let's see how this fits on for size. And
That's a very adventurous nature.
yeah, very,
Definitely.
very much
And I
so.
mean,
Yeah.
I think I've read some of Janet's stories and they are quite hilarious. Janet is a fantastic writer.
Thank
And
you.
so I love your stories when you were the manager of a household. Like that's a very fascinating job,
Yeah.
full of very interesting tidbits in a world that not many people get to see. And then school teacher, always a very fascinating job, full of different things. What do you think is, ooh, favorite job? Favorite job?
I loved teaching school. Um, I loved. I didn't love working for millionaires and billionaires necessarily. I guess I enjoyed being a disc jockey for a while. I don't know if that's my favorite one. I did
Like in a
not
radio
enjoy
station?
what's that?
Like in a radio
Yeah,
station?
yeah, the radio station. I did not ca- particular care for selling garage doors. That
Oh,
was
that's
probably a
fair.
bad move. I guess I don't think I really had a favorite. They all kind of happened at a point when they were supposed to happen, maybe. Mm.
Mm,
They just kind of came along and at the right time. And I don't know if I could say that working out in Los Angeles as an escort and then as a hooker were necessarily coming along at the right time, but they had their role to play too. As
mm,
brutal as that those jobs were, um, it boy, talk about toughening up my skin and
yes.
finding out really what I was made of. I think that was definitely one job that definitely I found out just how much that I could take and tolerate. And was I going to stay down or was I going to stand back up? So there was that one. I don't know. They all played a really important role in where I am here today. No, that's a good
I
question.
don't know. I think that's I know. I kind of stumped you. I stumped you there. I just was curious for
They
my own
all
sake.
that's okay. But they all played a role in developing about where I am today, what's gotten me here today. Um, Came together just when they were supposed to. I just had to just keep moving on, trying different things. To the storytelling of the one that I shared with you about my time as a certified household manager. I went to a
Hmm.
school in Denver that trained people to become certified household managers, think butler. And my partner and I at the time were hired by a family who lived in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And we ended up there uh, taking care of them for a while. And I have to level with everybody. I was a not a very good household manager. It's not that I couldn't pay attention to details, but I just kind of bumbled along in the job. I didn't really shine all that brightly during my education. I managed to slide by, and when I was in school, my partner, on the other hand, perfect student. He was just the top student. Thank God that we were paired together, because he was a bright star. He just took to it like, duck a duck to water. I mean, he was incredible. But no, I wasn't very good at that, and I'm really all right saying that. That's why I wrote about all my mishaps. Yeah, I think it's been fun, Kristy, writing about these experiences. It brings back a lot of memories about different jobs, and how I had to learn to kind of roll with the punches. Just don't know, felt that just churning inside of me to just try something new. Just try and see, well, maybe this will take, maybe this will take. I was just going to say, if I can take anything away from that, if when you read this book, and I'm really excited to get it, going and get it out there for publication, is that, I learned to, even in the hard times, even when I was out in LA, homeless on the streets, strung out on God knows what, or successful in the classroom, or digging in the dirt, working as, farm laborer, harvesting cucumbers. I found that it was just really easy not to take myself too seriously about anything that happened. But again, going back to what we said earlier, not to let those horrible things define who I was going to be in my life, and moving forward. I think that was a really good lesson that I learned. I take each day with such gratitude and such appreciation for being upright and breathing, being able to get out of bed without, twisting an ankle. Just love each day as it comes. And I approached each job pretty much like that. Maybe not shoveling horse manure. That wasn't something that I loved, but it was a job, and I learned how to show up and be there for work even when I didn't want to be. And I think that's another thing, is just to, if you don't want to go to work, well, okay, you don't have to go to work. You can quit, but what does that say about you? And I'm not saying that there are some really awful situations that a person might need to quit, if it's an unsafe environment. But anyway, a lot of good has come from all of these, um, real variety of jobs. Taught me a lot about, like I said, I've met some beautiful human beings, wonderful people who were so gracious and kind and gentle, and others that were just about as evil as they come. And learning, I don't know, how to navigate through it all has been quite the undertaking, quite a path to be on. But I do want to share with you, I did, all this digging and everything that I've been doing while I've been researching my book and going back. I've kept tubs of my writing, and day books and planners. So, I've got all this, wealth of stuff that I've been able to dig through and help me, you know, um, jolt my memory here, and bring up these memories, is my handy dandy little pair of white gloves that they gave all of us Starkey graduates to use. And you know, it's precious little moments like this that just make me go, holy mother of pearl, what about that? The and they're still in their original wrapper. It's not like, I would use them. I don't know. But uh I just thought, I just got a kick of that when I, a couple months ago, was going looking for all this
That's
information
pretty
on my
cool.
my household management stories and stuff. So that, and I don't know, other things, looking at your high school yearbooks and middle school yearbooks. Oh my God. Oh geez. Yeah. It's like, what? Yeah, I guess that's me, and I don't know. It has been quite a tour of life. I'm really happy with it. Hasn't always been easy, of course, never is. But I hope people will enjoy the book, reading it, and as much as I have been really enjoying writing it. Not every day, but most days I've really been enjoying putting it together. And I just don't know. Take away what you want from it. Laugh, cry, roll your eyes.
I'm very excited to read it. It is called Blood, Sweat, and No Regret, and it is going to be coming out soon. And I will definitely link Janet's information because um, it it's going to be very exciting when it releases. It's going to be um, a great read, entertaining wise, but I think it's also a really fantastic story of perseverance and resilience and yeah, falling down and getting back up, which I feel like is a great message all the time.
I
Sometimes
hope
life's
people.
hard.
I thank you. I think that's a really nice way to summarize it. It is. I think it will be entertaining, and um, there's never any really, for young people, there's never really any easy way through life. I think a lot of young people know that, but you can't stay a victim forever. You'll just spin your wheels and you won't get anywhere. You'll just end up feeling sorry for yourself. That's what I wanted to say is that um, very rarely did I ever feel sorry for myself and just say, why me? You know, poor me. Why am I an alcoholic? Why couldn't I just be a normal person? Why this, why that? I just didn't question a lot. I just tried to accept my lot in life and make the best out of it, for better or for worse or whatnot. So, and this is, I think, my first podcast, which I'm so honored to be here. I think I've blundered through it quite nicely. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's been really good. I'm very excited to read your book because I do think that sometimes life can get you down, but I think that just you showing me just your list of jobs that you've had, it's a really great thing to remind people that you keep moving forward and you keep picking yourself back up and you never know what is going to be around the corner and just being open to new opportunities, which Janet is so good at. She just rolls with the punches.
I don't know. For some reason, I am still here and moving forward, and look forward to sharing my story with, and book with other people. By the way, the old website is available for people to go to. It's newly created, does have a pull down menu now for media, and people can always see our podcast together. And there's also I was invited to speak at, or a convention, I should say, a speech I gave, and people can listen to the audio of that as well on my website. So that's just plain old janetheron.com. So that's I don't
And I will be linking that below along with I
well,
will
there
be
you go.
sharing information as we have it about Janet's upcoming book release. And if you are at that point in your life where you might be wondering what's next, maybe check out her stuff because she just keeps moving forward.
Reach out,
Eh,
send me a
Yeah,
note, and talk to me. I will have a newsletter that is up and coming as well that you can certainly sign up for on the news, on the website and everything, which is just little jollies, little bits and pieces, little, you know, excerpts from a few little special excerpts from the book that's coming up, give you a taste of what's going to be in the book. So,
fantastic.
love to have a visit and speak and talk with people about it. So
I will put her information below, and I'm putting up a cover of her book, which, by the way, Janet was also a model at some point, as you can tell by her book cover, which is maybe the final one or maybe not. But wow, Janet,
That's
you
the
spanned
final.
every area, didn't you?
That's the final. That's going to be the cover.
Fantastic.
Yeah, kind of a tongue-in-cheek picture of me at a graveyard. I don't know. Just, what was I
Oh,
doing
Janet,
there?
I
What
love your
was I
sense of humor.
thinking?
It's so fun.
I don't
Well,
know.
thank you so much for joining me today. I really
Yes,
appreciate it.
thank you, Kristy, for having me. I really appreciate it. So good to see you, and so gracious of you to host me and have me on your show.
Thank you for coming. And everybody, check the links below, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Right, thanks.